So after 9 months of a whole lot of nothing, Nintendo still hasn't announced anything about the upcoming Direct. Yippee. And myself alongside any other Nintendo fan have extremely high hopes for this Direct, so I figured I'd make a pretty chill video just going over what I think the Nintendo Direct has in store for the future. I also divided my thoughts into different subsections, so if you want to skip forward and kill my watch time, go right ahead. Asshole. The Switch 2 is what everyone and their mom's been talking about. To no one's surprise, the Nintendo Switch is at the end of its life cycle, being out for well over 7 years now. Not to mention the hundreds of leaks and rumors coming out about this new console. It's pretty much guaranteed to be mentioned during this Direct. In terms of what information we'll be getting, I'm not entirely sure. They may just subtly mention it saying they have a new console coming out soon, or drop a whole ass trailer. All I know is that we'll get some sort of Switch 2 related news this Direct.
Are you sure about that?
In terms of what we already know, this console is supposed to be pretty strong, having the processing power of a PS4. It also has the same shape of the standard Switch, just a little beefier, and it's also rumored to be backwards compatible. However, something people haven't been talking about is that 7 months ago, Nintendo patented a dual screen gaming device that can be split in half. Everyone seems to forget about this, but what if the Switch 2 is almost a combination of the Switch and the DS, but has the processing power of a PS4? That would be pretty wild if you ask me, but only time can tell what Nintendo's actually cooking up. Whether they choose to talk about the Switch 2 or not, I'm sure we'll get details or even a teaser for the next 3D Mario game. Mario Odyssey released way back in 2017, and since then, we've been deprived of a new 3D Mario experience for 7 years now. I hear this next game is supposed to be an open world Mario experience. Bowser's Fury was just a taste of what we'll be getting. There's also been some rumors that this will be a launch title for the Switch 2, and even if it isn't, we have to be getting some sort of 3D Mario news this Direct. A lot of people believe it'll be Odyssey 2, but I personally believe it'll be something fresh and new. If it were up to me, I'd love to see a Mario Generations type of game, where different Marios from different universes band together to take down Team Bowser or something. I just think it'd be pretty cool to see Wonder Mario, Odyssey Mario, and 8-bit Mario all together on the big screen at once. Kinda like across the Spider-Verse, but Mario. And a video game. This next one has to happen. Metroid Prime 4. This game clearly went through development hell, being announced way back in 2017 and then nothing. But I think Nintendo's finally ready to launch it. They released Prime Remastered not too long ago to get new fans familiar with the series, and they never really came out and said Prime 4 was cancelled. Personally, I believe this game's been ready for a while now, but why would Nintendo release it at the end of the Switch's life cycle? I think it's the smarter business option to hold it off until the Switch 2 drops, making it a staple of Nintendo's next-gen console. And it would be a great selling point for people to buy the Switch 2. All in all, I'm pretty confident we'll finally get Prime 4 news this Direct. This next one isn't too likely, but I still have hope. Mario Kart 8 has been out since 2014. Let me say that again. 2014. It's been over a decade since we got a new Mario Kart game. Nintendo has to be cooking up something. What do you think is Mario Kart 9, Mario Kart X, or Nintendo Kart? We're due for a new installment in the series, because there's no way in hell Nintendo's gonna drop a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I don't know how likely this is considering the Mario Kart 8 Booster Pass ended not too long ago, but as we all know, Nintendo's full of surprises. This next one has no evidence to back it up, it's really just a hunch, but I believe Nintendo will revitalize one of their old series. Maybe a new Star Fox or a Kid Icarus, maybe even a new Punch-Out or Mother, but I don't know how plausible this is. Personally, I'd love to experience one of these old franchises in a new and fresh way, and I know a lot of people out there would want to as well. Nintendoland is technically another old franchise, but I think this has a pretty good chance of returning. If you don't know what Nintendoland is, it was essentially a minigame collection featuring different Nintendo franchises, and I think we all would have loved to see something like this on the Switch. Nintendoland 2 may be a surprise announcement this Direct, and I'm sure fans will be pleased to get a sequel featuring all their new favorite franchises. Another game that no one's been talking about is the Donkey Kong game. The last one we got was Tropical Freeze back in 2014. And no, this doesn't count. I'm talking a real Donkey Kong game. The classic 2D platforming that everyone loves. I feel like Donkey Kong gets shafted to the side when put up against other Nintendo franchises, and it's a real shame considering how big he was back in the day. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a new Donkey Kong Country sometime soon. Maybe they'll call it Donkey Kong Continent. Okay, never mind. Pikmin 4 is the best-selling game in the series by a landslide. And no, I don't think we'll be getting Pikmin 5 soon. Probably won't get that for another decade. But I can see them announcing DLC for Pikmin 4. It may be a new map or extra game modes, but I feel like the Pikmin devs have something in store for us. They still periodically promote it on Twitter and constantly update the website, so it's not completely out of the question. We'll probably get DLC announcements for other existing games as well, but I'm not too caught up in other franchises, so I couldn't really tell you. Something I think is bound to happen is old games getting remastered. Maybe Prime 2 and 3 to build hype for 4, or some older 3DS games that got shafted to the side. I've seen some talk about F-Zero GX being remastered, which would be pretty cool in my opinion. As we all know, Nintendo loves money, and remastering games is one of the easiest ways to make a quick buck, so it's pretty much guaranteed they'll remaster something. Speaking of Nintendo's catalog, it's also a write-off that they'll announce some more virtual console games. There's literally thousands of games to choose from, but personally, I'd love to see the Pokemon mainline games make their way to the Switch. But as we all know, Game Freak likes to be very protective over their IPs. Speaking of Game Freak, Pokemon Legend ZA is coming out in 2025, and I think they pushed it back so it can release on the Switch too. That being said, I'm not sure if they'll mention it during the Direct just because Pokemon usually does their own thing, and once again, Game Freak. But I feel like they have to at least mention it, right? And finally, my last prediction for the upcoming Direct is more talk about Nintendo's fleet of upcoming movies. I believe they'll end the Direct by at least mentioning the Mario Movie 2 and the Legend of Zelda live-action film. Maybe they'll give us a trailer or just go over the casting, but these movies have been in the works for a while now, and I feel like Nintendo will want to show off at least one of them. If you want to take it a step further, they could announce something new like a Kirby or a Metroid film, but I think they'll just focus on what we already know. We live in a very interesting time where Nintendo's finally being more than just a video game company. They've been releasing theme parks, releasing movies, it's almost like they're trying to become the modern day Disney, and I'm not completely opposed. All I can say is that the future is bright for Nintendo. The life cycle of the Switch helped revive this company and helped it rise to new heights, and let me say, I'm extremely excited for what's to come next. I know this video is a lot more casual compared to my hyper-edited brain rot content, but if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We're very close to 20,000 subscribers, and I'd really appreciate the support. I'm not some Nintendo mastermind, so I may have skipped over quite a few things, but be sure to leave a comment on what you'd want to see in this upcoming Direct. Personally, I think I'm most excited for Donkey Kong Continent.